Hello beautiful souls, and welcome to a long-awaited pick a card where we're going to tune into Sekhmet. So this is the Egyptian goddess of love, war, healing, and she is just in general very dualistic force of nature. So I personally love connecting with her, and the theme of this reading is your personal power. How do you guys get back your spark? How do you heal? How do you get back your personal power if you feel like you've lost it or you've lost touch with it? I think Sekhmet is the perfect goddess to work with if you are at this stage on your journey, and that's why I wanted to bring this reading to you. I don't have particular questions for this reading, so I'm not going to be pulling cards asking specific questions, at least not in the beginning of the reading, where we have these like piles already of cards that I'll be looking at first. But I just have this general theme of personal power and healing, and that's it. That's how this reading came to me, so that's how I'm gonna keep it. This reading will also have extended portions, so each pile will have a continuation that you can purchase and watch if you resonate with your pile here. So I'm very excited, and here are the three piles. Pile number one, you have this, I believe this is a citrine quartz, something like that, or peach quartz, something like this. It's just a very beautiful peachy, orangey crystal. I really love it. So this is for pile one. For pile two, I was guided to combine two or more things for pile two and three, as you can see. So for pile two, we have this rock crystal stone. As you can see, there is like silver and blue shiny parts on it. I'm not sure what it is. And here we have carnelian. So a carnelian bracelet. So if you resonate with this combination for one reason or another, this is your pile. And for pile number three, I picked these two stones. Now I go by color, I'm not gonna lie, I go by color primarily, and shape as well. So I picked these two stones, and I really liked how they sat together in my like plate with crystals. How one was very like rough around the edges and the other was super polished. So if you somehow resonate with this dynamic of like duality, or maybe the process of alchemy, as you can see, it's almost like this is this but polished. So if you resonate with these two crystals or with that way of thinking about them, this is going to be your pile. So take time, pause the video, look at the cards, look at the crystals and the arrangements, and meditate. Try to really use your intuition. These readings where I work with like Sekhmet or Isis or Athena or Thoth, like different deities, and I like to call them just forces of nature. These readings are very spiritual usually. Even when we talk about the mundane aspects of life, there is still like the spiritual reasoning behind them. So I would really like if you try to meditate, try to tune in the piles psychically so you get the most out of this. And whenever you're done with your choice, you can check out the timestamps below in the description box below, as well as the comment section in the pinned comment, and I will see you in your pile. Hello pile one, and welcome to your reading. If you guys chose this crystal or just this pile because of the numbers or whatever, this is your reading. Now I'm going to straight go into the cards, and I did take some notes. So this time in this reading, when I prepared the piles, I did look at the cards and I did take some notes because I have some decks that I have one deck that is in French. So I wanted to be able to read from the guidebook and translate it because my French is very rusty. I was kind of surprised I could translate most of it, but still I wanted to be prepared. So I do have messages here that I will stick to, but I also want to see what comes through spontaneously, intuitively after I'm done with these messages I had my first glimpse of. So that's why I'm tuning right into the cards and not channeling prior, because I already know these cards. So I'm going to channel after them, okay? Okay, so we have Isis, and these two cards, actually this is the pictures I'm gonna be looking at, but the messages are behind, so I'm gonna put them like this, but then I will switch them. We have perfectionism with number 33. Be content to know perfection as a distant utopian goal to which we journey but never arrive. Free associate, allow the first thing that comes into your mind without self-censorship to bestow a vision upon you. I really like the numbers. We have 3, we have 3, 3, we have 7 and 1, and these are to me all angelic and sacred numbers. We have 19 with Memento Mori, which translates to remember that you're mortal, and that's why you have there might not be a someday, which I love this message. I'm gonna dive into it later. Now, just a warning, maybe you expect me to really flow with the messages just because I have taken a look at the cards, but I did take a look, but I may still take pauses and take time to figure things out and connect the dots, just so you know. This reading is not going to be fast like this. All right, and we have Ra. So we have Diana with unshakable intention, if that is the correct way to translate this. Allow all of your thoughts, feelings, and actions to be intently directed to fulfilling your goal. That's how you leave a trace in life, or how you create a legacy. And we have Ra. I love that we have Isis and Ra. Now, the first thing that came to me when I took a look at the cards was this motherhood energy. We have Holy Queen, Mother of us all, embodied manifestation of love. Now, there is an interesting dynamic going on. So first of all, with Diana, I was immediately drawn to the fact that she's connected to the moon. She is a huntress. She's connected to the moon. So lunar energy, lunar goddess, this is all about our intuition and the divine feminine and the mother archetype. And then we have Isis, that is both connected to the moon, but primarily to the sun. She is kind of linked to both, but primarily it's the sun. She is daughter of the sun. She is daughter of Ra. And in the French oracle deck, Ra is described as light, greatness, power. This is the embodiment of the sun. Father of all things, which I found very interesting because we have mother of us all. So we have the father and the mother figure, but they're not counterparts. They are, you know, she comes from him. So it's this interesting energy of, and then we have lunar energy. So this primordial motherly energy. And then we have Isis, and she's like, yeah, she's a mother of us all, but Isis is also a child, right? And I definitely sensed this ancestral karmic thing going on. So this is connected to how you gain back your power and gain back your spark if you've lost it. All right, and another thing about Ra in the oracle deck, Ra was on page 133, which to me was like, this is just great alignment with this number here and this number here. And 33 is a master number, we know this. It's also I think a sacred number related to Jesus as an archetype, I would say. Yes, I do take religious figures as archetypal figures, just like I take deities. So we have number 3 showing up so much, and 33 in particular showing up so much. So Ra is also described as the light that brought life to everything, right? So here we have the sun and the moon, and Isis as the mother, and Isis is the mother of Horus. And Horus's eyes are also the sun and the moon. So you see how it's almost like we have the ancestors, we have your parents, like that's how I see it, like grandparents, parents, and you guys, pile 1, I think, are most associated with the archetype of Horus. Some of you, maybe Isis, those of you who are mothers, those of you who feel like you have a sacred connection with your children, or that your children have this spiritual purpose as well and you've sensed it in them. So maybe motherhood for my female auditory, sorry. You may resonate with this energy of like being these divine mothers, and like motherhood being part of maybe why you lost your spark, how to regain it, or how you gained your spark after losing it. I'm gonna dive deeper into this later with more cards and tarot, etc. But these are just things at a first glance that I got from these cards. So we definitely have Horus, we definitely have the moon and sun symbolism coming through very strongly, and we have balance. All right, so let me see. So the first message that came to me as an advice kind of message was, there's been a path here. There's been a path that is long overdue to be walked on. I almost feel like this is a path your ancestors maybe refused to walk on, even if they wanted to. So there is this ancestral like journey that's been postponed, and like, oh, let the next generation heal this, let the next generation fulfill this goal, fulfill this mission. And now the mission has fallen on your shoulders. And with Diana, for some reason, I immediately felt the sense of like magic. For many of you, if you've lost your spark, it's time that you tune into your magical abilities, your magical practice, especially your connection to the lunar cycles. I know we have a lot of solar imagery as well, but I think that the beginning of this will be by connecting with the moon. And I think you are on this interesting journey that will begin with the moon and end with the sun, and maybe after reconnecting with the sun, then finally you will come into this balance, okay? So perhaps throughout your ancestry, there is this like one extreme or the other. We're very lunar or we're very solar. One ancestor is very introverted, intuitive, maybe even artistic, but also the moon is about illusions, coping mechanisms, addictions, escapism. So it's almost like one lineage is like this, and the other is too solar, it's too bright. I don't believe it until I see it type of deal. So you need to blend these two. And I think that there's been a path of like these two energies being balanced that many of your ancestors have refused to walk. They were unable to find the balance here. And you are the one who will do that. Okay, the next thing, there is this message of it's time that you take the first step. It's been, again, long overdue, and you must take the first step because there might not be a someday. I think all of your ancestors were like, yes, someday I'll do this, someday I will walk this path, walk this journey, and then they passed. Their life was basically over, right? So for you, Spirit is saying, be very careful that you don't step into this way of thinking. Someday I'll do it. I'm just not ready yet. Someday I'll do it. Yes, absolutely. And then suddenly you blink and years have passed, life has gone, and you're at the threshold to the other side already. So that is a small warning that maybe that's what you're doing, and I see that if that's the case, it is a pattern from your ancestors. So I just generally felt this like energy of take the first step. Another thing that I heard when I was looking at these cards was you are equipped. I think many of you, whatever this new path is, this could be different for everyone. Like it could be a career path, obviously. It could be, well, I want to lead a different kind of relationships in my life. I want to have a different kind of relationship story in my life. I want to be a different kind of parent. That's also something I'm getting this, and I have to say it now, there is very strong maternal karma here. So I'm sensing a lot of like Libra and Cancer placements. Maybe even Capricorn. I know Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, Father Saturn, right? But Capricorn is an earth sign. It's feminine energy at the end of the day. So Capricorn and Cancer, those, I know it's like the father and the mother figure, but to me, it's like the two kinds of mothers sometimes. Like that's also how I sometimes look at it. The two kinds of mothers. And the Capricorn-esque mother is, it can symbolize the patriarchal mother figure, the one that allowed this way of thinking to be installed in her. And then Cancer sometimes can be, the very loving, soft natured mother, the caretaker, the typical mother figure. But Cancer is also about the womb and the moon, and it's magical. So there is magic there, and there's almost like this witchcraft, right? And Saturn, the Capricorn-esque mother, is the kind of woman that would blame another for being a witch and being a siren and being magical. So I do see that there is karma here between women in this lineage, and you might be the sun, so you might be the son in the situation, don't have to be a daughter, but still I see a mother to daughter kind of like curse or judgment being passed down, a mental prison being passed down. And especially because Isis, she births Horus, and Horus is the symbol of Jesus. It's the new generation, it's the new era. So whether you are a daughter to your mothers and grandmothers or a son to them, you are Horus and you are this new generation, and you have to overthrow and overcome this motherly karma being passed down. So this is something I see here that may play a huge role in how you've lost your spark. There could be a very stern grandmother figure here, or a mother that was never there for you or love you properly because maybe she couldn't connect with her own mom, etc. So you see how these things are happening here, right? And because I'm talking so much about the moon and the sun are the true parents in astrology. Although Saturn sometimes does correspond to fatherly figures if they are older, which is often the case. There's an older man and younger woman. And that's why Saturn very often can correspond to the father figure in someone's chart. But traditionally, it's the sun. It's the sun and the moon. So that's why Cancer and Capricorn sitting opposite each other, these are the mother figures, the two faces. And then you have the sun opposing Uranus, which is interesting because we have Leo versus Aquarius, and we have the two faces of the father figure. Uranus is the old doctrine, because traditionally Uranus rules innovation, yes, but Uranus is the father of Saturn, the father that Saturn overthrew at some point. So it's interesting because here I think when it comes to the father figure showing up, you have more of the sun archetype. And to me, the sun is the true new innovation, okay? Uranus is almost like the old ancient eras of Earth where intellect led to innovation, and it became so romanticized and put on a pedestal when the true masculine and it was like Uranus is almost like the false masculine principle, pure logic, science, intellect. But it's actually the sun that is the gold and the alchemy and symbolizing a true star, It's like this true light. So with the father figures, especially if you're the sun, you may be also subverting this idea that as a male in your lineage, you have to be the intellect and the one who constructs a plan, figures things out, advances the lineage in this very, again, cold robotic manner. So that's another path that I see for some of you who will resonate with masculine energy in general, how maybe when you're getting too robotic to figure out life, you lose your spark again. And it's almost like this premature death. So, because Uranus is more like electricity, but you see, the sun is the consciousness. So what happens after death? It is claimed that the brain lives for like a couple of minutes after the heart stops, etc., right? There is the electrical impulses in the brain are still there. But you no longer have the soul attached to the body. You no longer have the consciousness attached to the body. The consciousness may be somewhere close to the body, but it's usually not. So that's why, to me, the sun is the true masculine principle, the true fatherly figure, and so is the moon for the feminine figure. And Saturn and Uranus are these outdated principles that fought each other. It was innovation against the material plane and versus the material plane and versus nature, because Saturn and Capricorn is connected to the earth and to materialization of things. So, and it's matter. So these are the things I see going on here. It may be very useful for you, because this is coming through now, to study your Uranus placement, your Sun placement, your Moon and Saturn placement, as well as your 4th versus 10th house and your 5th versus 11th. Maybe you've been looking for your purpose in your 10th house, but maybe you should look into your 5th. Especially if you feel like you have lost your spark, if you've lost that sun, right? That radiant light. So this is something I so far see, especially also with perfectionism. This is very Capricorn-esque characteristic. It's very much a Saturn Capricorn type of expectation, right? Okay, so let's see if there's anything else I want to say before I pull other cards here. Oh yeah, so I wrote down, you have the knowledge, you are equipped. I think for many of you, this journey that's been long overdue, you have the knowledge, you're equipped. And if this is about career, I feel like you've already studied this field, you've already like mastered this field, but you never maybe entered it. Maybe motherhood prevented you, or parenthood in general prevented you from following these dreams that you studied for and were preparing for. And you were like, oh, okay, one day I will chase those dreams. So that's what Sekhmet is coming through to help you reclaim that kind of power. She's like, you're prepared. You have the solar consciousness, the knowledge, the wisdom, right? Because light is truth and knowledge, and it's like Prometheus energy type of. So you have that. You have this light in you. You have the knowledge already. It's just that you haven't set out on the path. And I feel like the path is this obscure, nebulous, lunar thing that you daydream of, but you never dare to walk it. And it's time that you walk it. Allow the first thing that comes into your mind without self-censorship to bestow a vision upon you. Again, that is the play between the moon and the sun, psychically, because we have bestow. Allow the first thing that comes into your mind to bestow a vision upon you without self-judgment and censorship. So the psychic play between the moon and the sun is the moon kind of establishes a field of resonance. Like, okay, this is an idea, a very like overarching, nebulous idea that I resonate with. And then the sun comes through. Because the moon is this diffused light, right? And then the sun comes through and gives it a shape. It's concrete, condensed light. It gives it a shape and you see the psychic image. But the moon is also connected to our past lives, plural, our lineage, right? Our earthly biological ancestry through the womb of the mother that we're connected to. And all of those things, and the moon catalogs all of it. The moon contains like all these memories, and they merge and confuse us sometimes. So you get this solar vision, but then with untrained intuition, with untrained lunar abilities, it can get very confusing very quickly. You may not see it. You may think it to be something else, something that it's not, or the opposite of what it truly is. And overall, you just create this self-inflicted confusion because there are lunar things, maternal things, family karma things that you haven't figured out. And that's why you can't connect to your sun yet. So it's almost like this is what you need to dive in first, the moon. So I would suggest you start with your moon placement in your natal chart, all of the aspects it makes, all of the ways in which it shapes you and your life and your past lives and all the things you've inherited from the womb. And then slowly try to move toward the sun placements in your astrology. So to kind of bring this into to speak in English, I'm gonna use this very cliche saying like, can you speak in English please, that we hear in movies and read in books. I'll try to speak in English if so far it sounded very strange. Basically, you need to take the first step for the fog to clear out, because the path isn't clear because you haven't walked it yet, and it will remain unclear until you walk it. All right, and this is something though that it's like, it's a labyrinth, and you've studied the labyrinth, but you haven't entered it yet, but you've studied it. You are more prepared than you know for this labyrinth, for this journey. That's your message here, okay? I want to see if there's anything here that I want to touch on, but maybe so far I just want to pull cards now. All right. Let's see. Anything else Sekhmet wants to convey to you? Anything else she wants to speak to you about? I will probably be pulling tarot cards and like getting specific messages, and maybe like this is happening in your life and you should do this, etc. Plus more spiritual messages, of course, in the extended portion, just because I feel like I talked for quite a while. But I will still ask anything else that Sekhmet wants to come through with, that maybe we'll get more clarity on later in the extended reading. Anything else that you need to know about how to get your spark back? We have labradorite. Okay, to me this has always been a very psychic crystal. And indeed we do have the third eye chakra. We have Pisces energy. Okay. I think you need to realize that to get your spark back, to walk the journey you've been daydreaming of, you will be walking the journey and doing the inner work simultaneously. You cannot do the inner work before the journey. Okay, that's coming through very, very strongly. Oh, and here you see the giraffes and then the wolf. It feels like if you've been walking in a pair with a partner, with a friend, with the advice of a parent, it's almost like you need to become the wolf here. And I'm almost seeing like this wheel here, and I don't know why I'm getting something about, I have no idea what this is, so if I'm making a mistake or I'm not explaining it, just correct me in the comments, or if you know what this is, please tell me. But why am I getting a Native American wheel? Something about a Native American wheel. I don't know if it's like a calendar or something. it's almost like this healing wheel or something like this. That's what I'm picking up on. You're becoming a wolf, you know. I feel like you've been trying to predict life with the giraffe to get a higher point of view. Look at life before you experience it. Be super prepared and do it quote unquote right. But with the wolf, it's like you gotta run with your instincts, howl to the moon, and just trust your intuition and kind of like running through the woods. That's why we have even this like fish in the sky, fish, Pisces, intuition, etc. And you have this wheel. I don't know what it is really, but somehow it feels significant to this like trusting your intuition. You will heal while on the road. You won't heal before getting on the road. Now, something related to like gaining back your spark here is there's a message from afar, maybe a client from a distant country, distant territory, another state, another continent even, but there is a message from afar that will help you lay the first bricks of building this castle, building the foundations of this journey of like a life where you don't lose your spark anymore, or a life inspired by your spark, by your inner power. Anything else Sekhmet wants to tell us? And I mean, you have Isis. This is like, some of you maybe have underestimated a magical practice inherited by your ancestors that you need to tap into. Or maybe you need to return to your ancestral lands to kind of, again, reconnect with this ancient power. Wow, okay, we have two cards. We have the opal, which is the moonstone, very often called an opal. We have it with the heart chakra, and we have it with Cancer. Are we surprised? No. Oh my gosh, and we have a moonstone. Again with Cancer, with the sacral chakra. Wow. Wow. All I can say is just wow. Hold on. Okay, so because I'm not an expert at crystals, I know about these, like, okay, the moonstone, lunar energy, we spoke of this already, but I want to see if there is anything in the guidebook that we can get more on the crystals. Opal's energy wavelengths are very delicate and sensitive. It is a power stone that awakens one's potential through its energy. It corrects and guides you to the right path whenever you feel like you're doing wrong. It holds creative and original ideas. It is effective for people whose work is related to meditation, counseling, and art. It's the fourth chakra, the heart chakra. It accurately reminds us of how we should react to reality, and at the same time amplifies our emotional and artistic behaviors, how to apply it in life. It is good to have it near your heart. It's good to have it as a necklace or bracelet. Wearing it as a ring is also fine. Okay, and the moonstone really quickly. Moonstone provides mental stability and inspiration. Stressing over emotions for a long period of time affects the human body negatively. It stabilizes and balances, the moonstone stabilizes and balances the accumulated feelings of anger, anxiety, and other elements that add up to aggression. Moonstone helps you to accept your current situation and grow generosity. Rather than making realistic decisions, it guides you to look over your current situation and improves your observational skills. It relieves your emotional stress and gives you spiritual realization. Rather than making you avoid situation, it establishes you to make fundamental decisions. So this is something you've been avoiding, pile one, it seems. It is good to have it as a bracelet or necklace. If you place it as a crystal globe or cluster, it helps relieve anxiety and insomnia. Yeah, maybe you're also going through a lot of like dream work, a lot of work in your dreams, spiritual work, and maybe if you've been feeling exhausted, I think this avoidance that perhaps many of you have slipped into, and like gaslighting yourself, I'm gonna do it someday, now is not the right time, might be very likely exhausting you, and like it drains you, because a spark does not, it fades away when you don't use it. It's like a muscle. When you don't train it, you lose it. It's still there, but it's dormant, and you may even feel more exhausted the less you create, the less you output. So this is not just for the artists out there. Creation takes many forms. But yeah, your spark will come once you start forging your path, okay? You see her bracelet? This is the connection to the moon. This is like a lunar bracelet. It's like almost made out of moonlight. So this is light forged into something. I think that's what you are meant to do. These are like, you need to forge your dreams and your visions, most likely psychic visions, into a path instead of just keeping them in your head or kind of ignoring them and avoiding them. So these are crystals you may want to work with. And the last thing I'm going to read about is Isis, and then we're going to move into the extended portion of this reading. So let's see what Isis has to share with us. Holy Queen, Mother of us all. And with so much like number 33, again, I just want to mention, you guys will be masters at this. You will be very, very good at this new thing, or this, it's not even a new thing. It's something you already know, you've already tried, you're already good at. It's just that the path involving this dream or journey or lifestyle, it can be a whole lifestyle, or like the path involving this kind of relationship, like you're already good at this relationship, you've learned your lessons, you know how to treat your partner, but the path, you haven't walked it yet, you see. So it's almost like, imagine one of the ascended masters having their abilities, their wisdom, and not walking the path. That's how I see you right now. Isis and her husband Osiris ruled the fertile lands of Egypt during the first times. Isis was beloved of all the people whom she served as midwife and as teacher of weaving and the healing arts. It was because of her great capacity to love and her skill in the magical arts that she was able to raise her murdered husband to conceive their son Horus, so that he could restore the enlightened reign of his father. Isis is the pure, clear essence of spirit embodied in matter. She is always with us on this journey. This is to me like you embodying your higher self in your body and experiencing a physical reality mirroring that, reflecting that embodiment. She is always with us on this journey as a loving, supportive force through every transformation we undergo. Isis remembers us when we die, the shaman's death. She makes us whole again as she urges us forth into a new incarnation, a new way of being, and a higher octave of consciousness. She is the queen of both heaven and earth and unfolds her multiple colored wings to build a rainbow bridge of love between the worlds of form and formlessness. If you have chosen this card, Isis will see into the heart of the matter that you have brought before her to dispel confusion and allow clarity to emerge. She will show you how to bridge the personal with the transpersonal. As above, so below. Isis is committed to renewal and regeneration. She assists you in seeing the both/and rather than the either/or. In whatever situation you are involved with. As you merge with Isis, Allow yourself to feel the embrace of the Great Mother as her rainbow wings surround and envelop you. Notice how in her embrace she balances and attunes the chakras. Listen for her voice within as she offers you encouragement. Isis loves you regardless of what is happening in the world or in your life and connects you in a powerful way to your own self-love. And a very strong message that I just noticed and I think is trying to be conveyed here is you won't lose things by committing to this path. This path of yours is about merging of things, not losing things. It's about merging of things and focus. And actually, according to Carl Jung, sunlight is the light that divides because it categorizes things, and moonlight is the light that unites because it diffuses, it kind of creates like this veil that connects everything. And I've spoken, I think, in other readings before, but Isis, when she brings back Osiris, he has this green skin, and I'm not sure of the connection here, but first, Isis is Venus, that's one of the connections, but Carl Jung speaks of how Venus is very connected to the color green after alchemy or metamorphosis. So, and it's interesting how you have like red to blue to green. So I would say here that you guys are Isis. You're capable of resurrecting yourselves. Osiris is not a partner here. Osiris is another version of you. After all, they're siblings, right? They're parts of each other. You're bringing back a version of you through alchemy, through union, not categorization, not like separation. So instead of thinking, oh, I should commit to this and give up that, think of how do I merge these things into one, because this is where your greatness lies, pile one. And this is where you will find your spark again, by merging all the things that you love and care about. So I can't wait to see you in the extended portion. That's all I have for you. Thank you so much for watching until the end. If you did, thank you for the support. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. This helps so much. Share with fellow spiritual people that maybe not into tarot readings, but my tarot readings are a little different. I think that's been cleared on my channel for quite some time now. They're very, very much focused on spirituality and self-development. So I just hope someone may not be into tarot, but they may still resonate with these readings. So yeah, you can also listen to them as a podcast if you want to. Thank you so much for watching. Please comment how you resonated with these messages. I know I spilled a lot of information, but that is for you to dissect. I'm just the messenger. And maybe one day, I don't make promises. I've been working on some things, and maybe one day I'll share more on the things I talk about in my reading. So thank you again. I would love to see you in the extended portion. I would love to see you in a personal reading. If you want to work with me through an Akashic Records, through a natal chart reading. And I just love you so much, and thank you for all the support. Until next time. Bye. Hello Pile 2, and welcome to your reading. I'm so excited to bring those messages to you. So let's see what you have in store. As you can see, we already have prepared cards. Now, usually with these very spiritual readings, I channel a message before I open up the cards, but this time what I did, because I have cards from a deck that's in French, and I wanted to read it and be prepared with the meanings. It's an Egyptian deities deck, so I just wanted to make sure, because I don't know all the deities, there are actually so many apart from the famous ones, that this deck contains, and I wanted to read about it. And I also read all the cards, so I know what these cards are, and I have prepared notes, very quick notes right here. I'm gonna make sure I mention all of these things, but after I'm done with that, I will see what intuitive things come through. So instead of channeling before I open the cards with basically blind to any messages coming through, I will channel after I see the cards, and I will just see how I intuitively interpret them and what messages come through them. So I hope you don't mind. It's just that my process shifts with every different reading, and different readings demand different approaches. So If you chose this crystal with the carnelian bracelet, that's gonna be your reading. Let's see what Sekhmet wants to tell you about your personal power. All right, we have, you will only see the way by making the way. This very much corresponds with pile 1, I'm not gonna lie, but what I was getting, so when I looked at your cards and pile 1's cards, when I was preparing these notes for each pile, I noticed that there were similarities between you, but I knew in my gut that these readings at the end, or like the core messages, will end up being very different, although the cards read sort of similarly on the surface level. So if you want, you can check out pile 1 as well. You may resonate with it as well. But ultimately, I think it's gonna be, yeah, just for different groups. So we have abundance with the goddess is called Abundance. So I'm not sure which goddess this is. Funnily enough, I didn't read about her from the guidebook. There are no wrong turns. So this deck, I have these pictures to interpret, but first I will turn with the keywords and the message behind, face up, and then I will turn their backs up so I can look at the pictures. Nurture. For self-care, try loving and nurturing yourself as you would a child or a pet. We have trust. Trust that you were born a creative being and have never stopped being one. We have the desert, sacred archetypal element of fire. We have, it says Knum, but I'm sure that he had another name in English. Hold on, I have this other deck. Yeah, it's Knum. All right. So I'm reading it the right way. And we have Amut, or that's what it says in French. Well, we'll call her Amut, and maybe the specific English name is a little different, but basically this is the devourer of hearts in the underworld, right? That creature, the monster that eats the heart, that way too heavy with sins when Maat weighs them. Okay, so the first thing that I immediately noticed, I didn't even know that these two, Knum and Amut, had a connection. So she eats the hearts, right? If your heart is heavier than the feather of Ma'at, then it means your soul has more sins than virtues. So your heart goes, and your soul is devoured by this creature. But Knum is a creation god. He is a god of creation, not necessarily life, but like creating a form, craftsmanship. He's also a god of fresh waters and like a fertility association. He has a fertility association, but he's also the god that can bless your soul upon journeying to the underworld, so you win favor when your heart is weighed by Ma'at. So basically he can bless you to be atoned from the sins or from the heaviness in your heart. So just with these two cards alone, and not just them, but also this one, the desert. And you see how Gnome holds this like clay figurine right here in his hands? We have the desert and the fire, and it's almost like, what is the desert? Wouldn't it be like a metaphor for the place where you put clay figurines to bake them? So I think the desert is the baking place, or the making place. So immediately we have this very interesting connection here of ascension of the heart chakra, returning to the light after maybe being lost in some darkness, renewed sense of self, a renewed sense of virtue, maybe after your moral compass has been swayed. Maybe you have betrayed yourselves in a way pile too. And it's like you're becoming this new version of you. But also with the deserts are, I've always said that, very spiritual places. They're sacred archetypal places for connecting with God, the universe, with higher powers, getting prophetic messages, and all that. So there is definitely something here. I just wanted to get this out of the way before I move on to the other cards, and we'll return to these cards. Now here you will only see the way by making the way. And we have this man with a torch. And it's, funnily enough, he looks like an archaeologist. And when I think of archaeologists, I know that they go all over the world, but I especially think of Egypt, especially with this hat and the color of the card, of the background. It looks like dunes, you know? So you will only see the way by making the way. I somehow, this is like Prometheus holding a torch that's on fire, and we have the desert of like spiritual illumination. So these cards are all connected, and there are no wrong turns. I feel like some of you might have lost your spark due to losing your connection to your spirituality. Now, that's not going to be the case for all of you. I'm going to dive into different potentials here, but that's what's coming through first. And with the archaeologist and Prometheus, it's like you have had, when you are linked, when you are connected to your spiritual senses, your spiritual work, your spiritual abilities and beliefs, you have this extra sense that guides you. Just like an archaeologist, you uncovered things for yourself, for your life, for your future, things that you want to do, things that you want to be, etc. But when you detach from your spirituality, you become extremely stagnant, most likely. And you lose that sense of higher guidance, and you lose that sense of self-discovery, like this almost addicting, endless sense of self-discovery that I think is installed in all humans. And when I say addicting, I don't mean this as a negative thing. I don't think being addicted to self-discovery and like becoming new and new and new again and again, that's not for everybody, but I don't think it's a negative thing. In fact, I feel like it's a driving force that moves civilization forward. So you lose touch with that thing that moves you forward. When you give up on your spirituality. And I would even say there is some kind of maybe dogma or religious indoctrination that you must overcome. It could even be spiritual indoctrination. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not religious, but I don't claim that that's the right way to go. You could be indoctrinated by many different belief systems, and it feels like there is one here, or maybe a couple, that you need to overcome because they have disconnected you from, let's not call it spirituality, let's call it a sacred existence, a sacred way of perceiving life. And as long as you're disconnected from this, there is stagnancy in your life, and there is this inability to follow your heart ultimately. Because one of the messages I wrote down here, hold on, is, where is it? The only wrong way is going against your heart. There are no wrong turns, there is no wrong way to go about life and to go about pursuing your spark and like finding your spark and reconnecting with it. But the only wrong way, the only wrong thing to do, the only wrong turn is going against your heart. That's it. That's the only thing. That's the only mistake you could make. And that's why I told you there is some sort of revival of the heart here. We have this beautiful green corresponding to the heart chakra as well. There is some beautiful revival of the heart and reconnecting your heart to a higher power. It's possible that some of you had your heart, or okay, let's phrase it this way. Something of low vibration had its claws dug into your heart and your heart space, your heart chakra. And it altered the kind of person you were becoming, the kind of life you wanted to live. So the primary focus is there on the heart and what you're connecting with. And the heart is a strange and unique and beautiful, I want to say organ, but also just like a symbol. Because you could say the heart is the soul. You could say the heart is also the part of us that wants things, which by the way came through for pile 1. That's why I think you should watch pile 1. But for you guys, I don't think this is about, because that came through in pile 1, about how they must change their desires, which it sounds strange now, but I promise you it makes sense when you watch the whole plus the extended reading portion. But for them it was changing the desires, right? Changing the heart in that way. For you, it feels like the heart feels like you need to change what you devoted yourselves to. You need to change what you linked yourselves to through some kind of promise, some kind of love. So I definitely think for many of you, this heart chakra awakening, etc., has to do with the devotion to the wrong belief system that did not nurture you, and the devotion to a wrong relationship, or getting entangled in like a soul dynamic, soul contract type of dynamic with something that was never meant for you, or someone that was never meant for you. So you also have abundance, which shows me that doors are open for you. There are many ways from which abundance can come into your life. I feel like disconnecting from your spark also cut you off of your connection to abundance. I see that there are many ways for abundance to return to you. You also have trust that you were born a creative being and have never stopped being one. You also have the god of craftsmanship. I don't know if you guys literally killed some kind of, or someone you were with, killed some kind of passion, some kind of love in your heart. But Gnome is showing up to tell you you can reforge your heart to fall in love again with this thing. So I feel like you guys lost your passion for something that is your thing. You know, I'm not gonna tell you, oh, go on this new journey, a new thing awaits, etc. No, I think you were involved with the right path, with the right purpose, the right creative pursuit or whatever, but someone made you lose trust in yourself and lose your love for this. And now I feel like you're trying to see, well, what else could I do, because now I lost love for this. But I feel like the true power is, how can you learn to love this and not let anyone ruin it for you? You're learning how to love something again after it was ruined by someone. And Gnome is saying your heart can be like clay, and it can be reforged, reformed, and rebaked if you go into the desert. If you allow yourself distance from everyone and everything that is ruining your passion, or manipulating you away from it and out of it, your passion will return. Okay, I think you've lost your spark because you've lost your love for something that made you truly happy because of external influences. So I think that this is where you lost your power. This is what needs healing, and this is how you will gain back your power. It's like, imagine yourselves returning to that person, that relationship, or that field, and telling people, all of you told me I could never do this, and you almost made me give up. You made me believe that I could never do this. It would never work. It's not how the marketplace is, or whatever your thing is, right? But despite all of that, you showed up and you still found your voice and you still continued doing what you loved. You didn't give it up because people told you so. And you found your niche and you found your people. We have the mention of a child or a pet, so there is like this energy of the inner child showing up here. And I would even say the 6th house. I think something became maybe too restricted for you. Like something you love became too much of a routine, too much of a, okay, here are the rules, this is how you're supposed to do it. And that's why you lost your love for it. And it could even be the case with your spirituality and spiritual exploration or sacred ritual in your life, etc. Maybe you became too rigid with it, or all of these people told you how it's done and how it isn't done, that you lost your spark for it. And you must regain it by basically forgetting everything that people told you, every indoctrination, every rule that they tried to hammer into you. Throw it away, please. So, again, another mirror with pile 1. I wrote down innovation for you guys because I sensed, I don't remember where, but I was like, oh, this is giving Uranus energy, but I don't remember which card. And pile 1 had strong Uranus symbolism as well, but theirs was different. Again, very, very different. But for you, this like innovation is more so about going against the rule book that ruined your passion. So Uranus here is not so much even about like innovation, like doing something unique and changing things and etc. It's more so about rebellion. Now I realize, because I told you my notes were very brief, just at a first glance, and now I think like everything I'm speaking of right now, it's just coming through right now. So I think this Uranus energy that I felt was more so about the rebellion against the rules. You know, I'm almost getting like this overarching energy of the Hierophant in Tarot. And where was it? I think I recently watched videos like basically explaining the symbolism in the tarot cards. The very the most famous deck, the tarot Rider-Waite tarot. And I was studying this card. I think it was the 10 of Swords. Yes, I was doing a personal reading and I was studying the 10 of Swords, and this beautiful woman described how the 10 of Swords is actually, if you pay attention to the clothes and the colors, it's the Hierophant killed. So there is the sense in the 10 of Swords of the tradition and like the rules being overthrown, and like a new beginning will come after the dark clouds move away. So that's what I feel for you guys. You've been under the dark clouds for too long because you tried to play by the rules, because there were probably people that really hard tried to convince you in the importance of these rules. And you know, here the idea, the myth is about, oh, if your heart is sinful, it's gonna be eaten by the monster, right? You don't deserve the afterlife or whatever. But I think I will twist the myth a little bit, and to me it's like a heart that's like not being authentic, it turns to, I don't know why I'm getting lead for some reason. Lead is usually associated with Saturn, by the way. So your heart will turn to lead and it will become super heavy, not because of sins, but because of all the unhappy things you fed it with. Because you played by the rules so much, right? The Hierophant, Saturn, structures, authorities. Authorities are taking away your love from something. Do not let them do it. That's like the ultimate message here that I'm getting. I am going to look at my notes one more time and check if I'm still filming. All right. I'm gonna take a look at my notes and then I'm gonna pull from this oracle deck. Oh yeah, another very powerful message here. So if I usually speculate, like, you know, this can be about anyone with any kind of career. When I say creativity, it doesn't have to mean the arts in particular. You can be creative with technology, you can be creative with social works, etc. But here, because we have Gnome and this is the goddess, the god of craftsmanship, I think this message is especially for the artists out there, those of you who create, and the arts include literature, poetry, dancing, music, paintings, movies, etc. Any form of a physical thing that you can hold in your hands or any form of entertainment is considered art. So the artists out there, the message here is gift your gift to the people. That's something I wrote down in the book of this oracle, the French oracle I told you about, because apparently I've studied Gnome before, and hold on, where is he? And you have, like, I'm just gonna show you these notes that you can do, and in my notes from, I don't know, like 2 or 3 years ago, when I've used this deck for the last time, I apparently have received this card, and in my notes it said, like, just an intuitive interpretation, gift your gift to people. And it clicked to me when I was reading the interpretations for these cards, just to be prepared for your reading, you guys. I was like, oh yeah, that's it, gift your gift to people. It just resonated so much for you as well, with abundance. Remember how I told you abundance wants to come from many ways? When I was telling you that, in my head I was thinking there was something else about this card. What was it? Now I remembered. So yeah, so to receive abundance, for abundance to come your way, because there are many ways through which it can come to you, you have to pour your abundance over to the world, to people. So when you gift your gift to people, abundance will come your way. It's like, that's what you receive, but this is also what you give. And you are reminded of this. And I think many of you might be in a situation where you are doing something despite losing your love for it. And with the desert, I almost feel like your love for it will return very soon. And finding a way to get this love back is gonna be you getting your power back in general. And it's gonna make this a source of abundance for you again. Does it make sense? So let's say you're a painter, but someone told you, you cannot paint like this, you should paint like that. And you've been painting like that. So you're in the desert, you're baking, you're creating, you are in a search, you're searching for this thing, for the right way to paint. your way to paint. You're searching for it. And I think very soon you'll be like, screw the rules. I'm gonna paint the way I want to paint. I'm gonna do this the way I want to do it. And that's when you will have so much inspiration to create things to share with the world. And the more you share, the more you will receive. And for some of you, you may already have a clay, quote-unquote clay collection, or basically a collection of creations that someone told you, never show these to the world, they suck, whatever it is, right? Never show it to the world. So you hid this collection and you've been keeping it to yourself, and the cards are saying again, show it to the world. Gift your gift to people. That's it. That's how you take your power back. That's how you work with Sekhmet. She wants you to be confident in the passions of your own heart. Wow, we have unknown. Hold on. Unknown planet. Oh, this is crazy. I've never received this card before. This is so crazy, but this reminds me, I recently watched, I think it's a Netflix series. I watched the series, The Three-Body Problem. It's based off this trilogy of books that got very famous. So The Three-Body Problem, it's a sci-fi series, and this other civilization from very far created a technology that could basically allow them to be everywhere on Earth, and watch and hear and smell and feel everything. So yeah, it's almost like invisible cameras, like every atom is a camera, but also you can smell and feel and sense things through it as well. And that's what this reminds me of for some reason, and we have this like unknown planet. I'm just throwing this in the air because I think it may become relevant, but let me pull some more cards here. And of course we have the crown chakra, and we don't have a particular star sign that this unknown planet is associated with, obviously, for obvious reasons. But this to me feels like... And yeah, so there were characters in the movie that interacted with this civilization before they even had come on Earth. So this makes me think that some of you, your creation might be going against the rules, or very few people understand it, and maybe the professionals in the field judge it harshly, just because it's something very unique, very different, very much undone before. I'm someone who believes that everything has been done before, but surely there are new things. And I think that you guys are doing something very, very unconventional. And with this with this card coming through, I'm getting this energy of your journey of like owning your power would be to make this unconventional thing that has not been done before, that is like a risky investment, or very often misunderstood. You're meant to make it big. You're meant to make it big, to make it recognizable, to make a name for yourselves. And it's inspired. I think many of you have connection to beings beyond our world. And I feel like this collaboration you have with them brings those creations into life. Okay, we have selenite with Taurus energy, the crown chakra again. So I'm gonna read from the guidebook really quickly about these two. Number 60 first. So, unknown planet, if there is still something unknown to us about the solar system, then it would be this planet. This foreign planet was greatly known by our ancestors, but it was forgotten when the tradition of leaving records that once stopped. However, it might reveal its presence in the future. This is because not only what we see with our eyes is considered real. The energy. It emits a very advanced and refined form of energy and is a force that reaches its source. Okay, and the selenite, really quickly with number 8. Okay. The crystal calms down the erratic energy and gives a sense of stability. It has the power to correct and clarify unclear situations. While the strength of the crystal is relatively weak and is likely to break down easily, it reacts sensitively to small vibrations to quickly capture or disperse negative energy. You will be able to notice the little changes in reaction. It helps one become stable and move further too quickly. Dispersing energy. It works best when held in hand or placed in or around the house. Okay. I don't know, but this reminds me of an igloo. Very, very specific here. Some of you might be creating a game. That's like just one particular message that's coming through. Some of you might be creating a game because I'm kind of seeing like this like graduation of levels and steps. It's not a pyramid necessarily. It reminds me of the I hope that's the word in English, but ziggurats, basically the first forms of pyramids where you just have these it looks like a staircase, honestly. Yeah, so that's something I see, and again it's connected to hierarchies, the Hierophant. The Hierophant is also ruled by Taurus, interestingly enough, but in both cards we have the crown chakra. So to me, it is your heart and your love for something that allowed you to get such unique ideas and to be passionate about these unique ideas. And ever since your heart was out of something and you started following the rules too closely, it's like those unique ideas stopped coming. The crown chakra and the heart have always and will always work together, the mind and the heart. Great ideas, genius ideas, great inspirations, they never come from a place of rigidity. They don't. That's science. That's not art. And one would argue that science can be a creative field, and surely it can, but there is still rigidity to it, and I would say there is a formula in things, and the more creative it is, the more it goes into the field of theories, not like hardcore we can prove this kind of science. But here, because I'm talking about creativity for you guys, the mind and the heart must work together, because the great creative ideas, you channel them with the heart, with the mind, in the mind, but you attract them. You draw them in with the magnetism of a heart, of a well-tuned in heart, with a heart that's open and loving and excited. So to regain your power, to regain your spark, I want you to focus on powerful positive emotions, passion, inspiration, joy, and pure bliss by residing in the ideas that come to you. Those ideas could be entire worlds, those ideas could be one single painting or a music piece, but like Spirit wants you, Sekhmet wants you in particular, because we're working with her after all. I just have the habit of saying Spirit. Sekhmet in particular wants you to own these big emotions, just as she did. But the deities we work with, or we tune into, etc., these like archetypes, they can be powerful, but they're not perfect. So Sekhmet, she is a powerful goddess of war and also love and also healing. But her myth of like getting drunk on human blood, and like her blood thirst raged even more because of that, and she went on a killing spree or whatever. Well, you're meant to do this, but on the opposite side, where there's so much joy, peace, happiness, trust in your heart, love for the things that you do, that you go on a creative spree, okay? Not a destroying, killing spree, but on a creation spree. Yeah, we have rose quartz, and usually rose quartz I associate with the heart chakra because it's a pink crystal, and that is like the higher heart chakra between the throat and the heart. But here it's associated with Taurus. We have Taurus twice, so if you have powerful Taurus placements are great for creativity, craftsmanship, and like doing things with your hands. But here we have the sacral chakra, and the sacral chakra is the chakra of inspiration. So I just take this as further confirmation. Amplify your emotions, the positive ones, the high vibrational ones, to get inspiration, start creating, in abundance will come into your life. Your spark will burn again after you stop playing by the rules of the authorities in the field where you want to be a master, because you have the chance to really make a great name for yourself and leave a great legacy behind. So that's all I'm seeing, pile 2. I truly hope you resonated with the message so far. We're gonna get more details with tarot and an extended portion of your reading, so I hope to see you there, or maybe in a personal reading if you wish to work with me. Thank you so much for watching. I truly appreciate you. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. This helps the channel so much. Comment below how you resonated. I love reading your comments. And yeah, I hope I'll see you again in my next pick a card. Until then, bye. Hello pile 3, and welcome to your reading. So if you guys chose the 2 crystals, the green ones that kind of like transition one into the other, this is gonna be your reading. So let's see what the cards have in store for you. Quick disclaimer, I have taken a look at these cards because there is a deck in French that I'm using, and I wanted to be able to read from the Oracle guidebook and translate it, so to make sure I'm not missing out on anything here, you're not missing out on anything here. So after I open the cards, I will tell you the first things that I got when I was taking a look at them. I took some notes right here. They're not like very organized notes, very brief, so the majority of this I will be just tuning in, channeling, and getting intuitive messages. But yeah, these cards will not surprise me for that reason, that I wanted to be acquainted with them. Especially also the deities, because this deck, the first deck that you see here, there are deities from the Egyptian mythology that I don't know of. They are, let's say, less popular, so I had to see what their attributions were. Okay, we have Sekhmet, which I love that for you guys, pile 3. You have Sekhmet in the Sekhmet reading, and that's, I think, just beautiful. We have Mavdet, which is also a feline goddess. She is often described as a cheetah. She is often, with a cheetah head or a feline head. She is often described as the runner. She like runs through the night while Ra fights Apophis, and she makes sure Ra is not attacked by serpents and other dangerous animals. She also makes sure that there is like a new day comes, that dawn arrives, which is very interesting. I will get into this. And we have Sobek, which this is a reptilian deity. It's a crocodile connected to the Nile River. So it's funny how you have this protector. She apparently protects specifically against scorpions and serpents and like being poisoned by them. And here we have, he's not clearly a serpent, but he is still a reptilian deity. We have a crocodile, and somehow I think that this is connected. We have I am galactic starseed blooming. You already know where I'm gonna go with this. Limits. Know that limiting attitudes are often formed as protective reactions to past events. So here we have this beautiful white horse, very magical, and it's important to keep note of this. I'm just gonna put them like this. We have this card with this beautiful, I think she's a mother. Yeah, she holds a baby here. And the swans, and we have actualization. You will achieve your full potential by virtue of your creativity and your honest pursuit of truth. Okay, I'm gonna place this like that. I'm also gonna turn this later, but as of now I just want to keep the horse visible. We have Bast. We have 3 feline goddesses so far, and Bast and Sekhmet and even Mavdet, even though as a less known deity, they're all sisters. They're all siblings. Some people say that Bast and Sekhmet were the same goddess, but kind of like the gentler and more fierce side of the same goddess. So one is one and the other is the other. But it's just funny how you have these feline goddesses all over the reading, and you have one reptilian deity, one crocodile. I'm getting into this. We have Freya. So this is a Celtic goddess of wait, no, it's a Norse goddess. It's a Norse goddess. This is the goddess of love, war, fertility, sex, beauty. She's very much Venusian, like the Venus archetype. But we have also the war and the fierceness, and she's brave, and like she has this warrior aspect to her as well. And it's funny because Sekhmet is also connected to fertility and sex, and so is Freya. So there are overlaps here. And finally we have the last card, the last goddess. We have Rhiannon. This is the magician, and she is a Welsh goddess, or Irish, not sure, maybe both. Maybe she's like, you know, her myth has been spread from one land to the other, but as far as I read, she is a Welsh goddess, and she is known for riding horses and being very strong, carrying travelers on her back. Like she apparently had this enormous strength, although she was very beautiful, and she always rode her horse at a distance, and she was very like mystical because of that. But she is also described as the divine queen, so she's not just a goddess, she is a ruler, queen as well. And because of, you know, her link to magic, of course, here we have messages of manifestation and all these things. Now, notice something. Notice the horse here and the horse here. I mean, this is not clearly white, but this is just like shades, you know. This is like a white horse for sure. Along with this one, they are a perfect match, if you ask me. And so far, the connections I've made here. So first of all, with I am a galactic starseed blooming, immediately I knew, okay, pile 3, you are my starseeds. Watching this, pile 3, I've told you in previous readings, somehow, some way, you always end up having these ultra galactic, ultra psychic readings, even when the topic is not spiritual. So, I think Sekhmet is coming through to remind you that you're drawn to work with her and you love working with her, most likely due to Lyran starseed origins, feline starseed origins. It is no coincidence we have 3 feline goddesses. And we even have another feline next to Freya. So, you see the picture here. There is very, very strong Lyran starseed origins, and with the horses I would even say like maybe Pegasus starseed origin as well. A Pegasus starseed and a Lyran starseed. You guys are the people that have come through this in this reading. And with all of these goddesses, both Sekhmet, Mavdet, and also Bast, what they have in common is not just that they're felines, not just that they're different aspects of the same feline goddess, but they are protectors. Now, Sekhmet, she's a warrior, but she is also considered a protector of royalty, of pharaohs. Mavdet is connected to justice, order, and truth. Apparently, she ensures Maat does her duty as well. She also protects Ra. And Sekhmet, on the other hand, is often called the Eye of Ra. She is very, very linked to the sun and the ferocious burning nature of the sun. So there is apparently this myth where Sekhmet she was tricked and she decided to walk away from Egypt, so the sun lost its power, its glory. So Thoth had to not trick her but convince her to return and return the glory of the sun. So we have, in Bast, she doesn't have necessarily solar associations, but she is just connected to them through the protection message and the feline message. So first of all, I think that many of you right now, the message that Sekhmet is coming through it is you're being protected, most likely not just by her, but by your galactic family, especially my Lyran souls. And what I'm getting about your spark being lost and how you need to get back your power and how do you need to heal, etc. Maybe some of you are going through... I'm not a medical professional, so that's not medical advice here. These readings are purely for entertainment, okay? What I see here is maybe a lot of you are going through some autoimmune things, okay? Because there is this overarching theme of the body, sexuality, and energy, and embodiment of higher power. And because this reading is about how do you get your spark back, for some of you maybe you haven't even lost it, so this reading is not going to be for you because you have your spark turned on, it's working. But for those of you who have lost it, there is something going on with repressed sexuality, repressed desires, repressed ambition maybe as well, and just a lot of repression overall that might be causing some inflammation in the body, chronic stuff, particularly autoimmune stuff. And I'm just getting that your Lyran family is coming through, and there is almost this, like, how do I explain it? Not disappointment in you, but this sadness, because it's almost like many of you have had these past lives where you've been in a very, very strong bodies and you've done very strong, very hard labor, or you had just tasks that required a lot of physical exertion and energy, and now that is not necessarily possible, or it will have to get possible. So I do see a huge getting back your health journey for most of you, pile 3. Getting back your health will get your spark back. And how you work with your sexual energy and your sexuality is going to be a huge part of this getting back your health journey, okay? I feel like your relationship to pleasure and your comfort around this and just your body relaxing around this in general is going to be a huge role in your nervous system, your immune system, your entire body to kind of relax and settle in its own power without anxiety and doubt and fear that maybe if you're too powerful, you're gonna break, or maybe this journey is not possible for you to conquer. All of that is coming through also because you have Rhiannon, and she was described as supernaturally strong. And you have these horses, and horses to me, it's so funny because Here I have like little notes around the card. So I have Sagittarius, 9th house, travel into the unknown. We have Sun, Jupiter, Mercury, particularly Jupiter in the 9th house and Sagittarius are all ruling each other in astrology. And we have two horses, and Sagittarius is the centaur, the half horse, half man. And horses, in particular Sagittarius in astrology, it's not just about travel. This is not just a fire sign of knowledge, wisdom, travel, and spirituality. No, the horse energy is actually very connected to the root chakra and survival. So for those of you who feel like you've lost your power, lost your spark, you feel like you need to regain it, there is some physical survival that I see in the cards that has to do with why you've lost your spark. There is some physical survival type of experience that has to be overcome here, or you have to get your power back after losing it during this experience. One way to do this that I see is some kind of pleasure liberation. There is this great book that I listened to quite a while ago, Pleasure Activism. I loved this book. It was really great. I highly recommend it to you guys because this sexual energy that I'm talking about, sure, it's about intimacy and like physicality, but it doesn't have to be just that. It's your overall relationship with, again, things that just make you feel good for the sake of it. This is where there is a disbalance. Either you reject those things and you suppress yourself, or you overindulge in them, just like Sekhmet once did in one of her mythology stories. But either way, you are throwing your body out of balance. So your power lays in the relationship to your body and how powerful and confident you feel in it. And this feels to me that it's not gonna be just about a little workout regime, a little, oh, I'm gonna eat healthier type of like deal. Okay, this feels a lot more, I don't want to say deep like the other two are shallow, but this feels like you're digging deeper. Yes, it feels like you're digging deeper to have the results that you want to have, to gain your power and your spark back. Okay, so far that wanted to come out. Now I'm gonna turn into the rest. Hold on, what was on the back of this card? Oh yeah, so limits. Okay, and here we had the swans, the mom, this beautiful circle with patterns on it. All right, and we have Sobek. I keep looking at him, and this card is kind of like an outlier among these other cards, so I'm just gonna put him here. So now let me get back to the starseed stuff. Okay, it feels like your Lyran family is particularly watching over you, probably trying to do some energy transmissions. With the Sobek, with this reptilian presence, Sobek is also, by the way, connected to protection. Now, he was considered this very animalistic deity, like he embodied the animalistic nature of people, humanity, the Egyptian pantheon, etc. He was the wild card, basically, but he is also considered, again, protector of pharaohs, protector in general, someone who wards off evil. Because he's so dangerous, unpredictable, and scary, apparently, he wards off evil as well. And now this is interesting. Some of you may have Lyran origins, and also you may have Draconian/reptilian origins as well, that that maybe are meant to protect you, but so far you've been expressing only the destructive patterns of these, I want to call them etheric genes, because I'm not sure if they're really in our physical biological DNA, but definitely in the energy bodies. Our starseed origins definitely shape our energy bodies to a huge degree, It shapes how we interact with energies all around us. And I think that your reptilian slash draconian origins, I think you might be afraid of tapping into them. And for that reason, you might be expressing the darker aspects of this. If you're suppressing it, of course, it's gonna come out in some kind of destructive way, but it's almost like it's destructive yet quiet. So there is definitely this fierceness that you need to tap into. This desire to embody the warrior within that you need to tap into, because so far it feels like you've been living in survival warrior mode, but you're seeing yourself as a survivor that keeps on surviving, and not a warrior with experience. And it's almost like this particular distinction between the two. This is where the key to stopping the self-destruction lays. You are a warrior with experience. That's the energy you must embody, because you're no longer a survivor of something. You should not continue to survive. You should live, and you should do so powerfully. But because the past, the past isn't the past, but it's also happened, you can just really ignore it. I understand that. But the cards here show me, how do I say it? Basically, if you step into this, okay, I'm a warrior with experience, you're no longer bound by the need and the fear that you have to fight through things. When you're a warrior, you establish this confidence, but you have this aura where you're not challenged. So basically, it's like the universe thinking, okay, they're a warrior, or they've been, or they're trained, etc. We're not gonna challenge them. They know what they are. But when you are a survivor, this association with it might put you in situations where you have to keep surviving. And warriors do not just fight, they also protect, they also conquer. So I want you to work with the warrior archetype, but tap into its other facets. Warriors do not just fight for the fight, they don't just fight to survive, right? They fight to conquer, to protect, and especially really good warriors, they don't think about, oh, I'm gonna die in this battle. They think about, how long is this battle gonna take, because I don't want to be late for dinner. I want to finish this quickly. This self-assuredness that you can do things quickly, efficiently, successfully, that's what you need to tap into. And some way, somehow, it is again connected to desires and your connection to pleasure and intimacy. But I think overall, yes, you have that warrior energy, but instead of thinking of yourselves as people that must keep fighting, think of yourselves as, I'm so fierce, nothing dares to challenge me. I'm so self-assured that I'm gonna win this battle, that the battle doesn't even start. Another message that I was getting here, again, with the contrast between these feline goddesses and Sobek representing reptilian energy, primordial energy, animalistic energy, you very well might be protected right now by energy vampires, and there might be such in your environment. And I'm gonna ask about who those people might be. So hold on, let me pick my tarot deck. Who are those energy vampires? Because that's also something I saw, and that also might be a reason why you feel like you're losing your spark. But I think tapping into your starseed origins, connecting with them, channeling, getting inspiration from them is a huge way to get back your power, to tap into your spark again. There is also calling for higher education, higher knowledge, higher wisdom. Oh wow, lots of cards. Who are these energy vampires? And immediately we have the devil. Alright, that's never a good sign. Very rarely the devil is a good sign. I mean, the devil can be about creativity and sexuality too, by the way, and especially repressed or controlled or manipulated sexual energy. Look, some of you, I don't know, this is like, maybe you want to lower the volume if you haven't already, and if you haven't noticed, I don't have the habit of warning before I talk about 18 plus topics, but who are you sleeping with matters, and I don't know who you are sleeping with, pile 3, but I see here maybe a fire sign, a water sign, specifically Aries and specifically Scorpio, Pisces, Cancer with the water signs. You might be intimate with someone that has their life in order and everything is perfect and so on and so forth, but they like to control so much, and they have a leash on your divine spark, on your divine power and purpose. Okay, I definitely think you're leashed to someone you're being intimate with. Another possible thing here, a boss could be an energy vampire in your life, someone who again leashes you, chains you, and does not allow you to, one way or another, working for this person does not allow you to step into your ferocious, powerful, not just warrior, but like general kind of energy, you know, being a general, being a leader. We have the Emperor, so that's why I think a boss. We have the King of Cups. This could be someone who acts as though they're very emotionally aware and empathetic, but they can use that as manipulation, or it's just their image that they like to have, but it's not who they truly are. So this can be someone who is emotionally mature enough to the point where they can emotionally manipulate. This could even be look at this. You have all this protection and power and strength, physical, right here. And you may have someone in your life that convinces you that they want to protect you, they want to be your strength, they want to be all these things, but at the same time it's like they control those things, you know? There is someone who makes you forget about your power because they are acting like their power will serve you as well, but in reality it only serves them. This could be a friend, a romantic partner, a boss. These are most likely, you know, the scenarios I see here. We also have this friend, maybe someone who does a lot to their hair all the time, like different hairstyles, or they change color all the time very often. It's just that I'm very drawn to this thing that she has on her head. But overall, I think that there is someone who's like, no, I'm gonna protect you, you don't have to protect yourself. Or someone who tries to make you act on their ideas. Like they have an idea, they tell it to you, and they really want to see you act on it, you know? So that's also a bad thing, and it's a way of them taking your power, again, taking your divine creativity, and in a way you are forgetting about this powerful team of goddesses being here for you, and you're looking at this person who does not do these good things for you completely selflessly. I think not at all, actually. I had to plug in my camera. So let's pull a couple more cards. So Sekhmet is warning you. She's like, why don't you work with me? Why don't you work with your own power? Why are you hiding in the shade of someone else's power? I don't know why I'm getting the number 6, and I'm getting the word diamonds. Diamonds. Something about this might be connected to this person here. This card and this card. Okay, we have Scorpio energy, which is very fitting for this energy, and they, of that specifically, she's supposed to protect you from serpents and scorpions. We have Kunzite with Scorpio, with the crown chakra. I'm gonna read about this crystal real quick from the little guidebook. And we have Chrysophrase or Brysophrase. I think this is a C. I hate fonts like this. I've studied a bit of graphic design in the 4 years of my art university experience, and I hate fonts like this that you cannot read for the life of you. But it's associated with Pisces and with the solar plexus chakra, funnily enough. So is Sekhmet. She is also connected to the solar plexus chakra and the sacral too. And green is connected to healing, and so is she. And the solar plexus is also about confidence, power, personal power especially, autonomy. With the crown chakra, I'm getting that many of you know who your enemies are, but you just don't want to admit it to yourself. Sekhmet is saying, hey, it's better to walk alone. And maybe that's your journey of gaining your power back. You have to be alone for a while before you can, get your power back. And we have, with Virgo, we have Sodalite with the throat chakra. You've been swallowing the truth, pile 3, and that truth that you swallow, that you don't speak, has been poisoning you. Let me read about the sodalite. It develops your spiritual perception in order to help you gain a high-dimensional consciousness by combining your logic and intuition skills. It makes you become fluent in expressing the thoughts in your mind. It is especially useful for therapeutic tasks, as it gives a sense of solidarity for the purpose of the group. It improves your rational reasoning, objectivity, truthfulness, and intuitive understanding skills. It helps to fix old habits. It is more effective during teamworks and also has the advantage of amplifying energy. Place it on the respective spot or use it as jewelry for a long period of time. So I sense that many of you will have to walk a solitary journey to get your power back, because there are people in your life that you have to remove. I'm not saying everyone, but there are some people that you have to remove. But I won't commit to the message of prepare for a hermit mode, for a hermit phase in your life, because I really want to see what the tarot cards tell us in the extended portion of this reading. And if you don't get it, just don't worry. Take this message as it resonates. Do you feel like the majority of the people around you need to get rid of and be alone to find yourself and your power? Or do you need that, do you feel that maybe there is just one person you need to get rid of and the others are fine, and maybe you just need to use your intuition and to only lean into and connect with a community that empowers you, and not a community that kind of suppresses you, takes your autonomy away, tries to be the authority figure in the relationship, etc. Let's read about the kunzite. Kunzite, I think so. Yeah, kunzite. It is a spiritual crystal that symbolizes silence and peace. It improves creativity and promotes philanthropy and service mind. It allows you to act independently and calmly while strengthening your will, even when your environment will try to affect you. It improves your skill of self-expression, as it has a strong function of reflecting yourself. It enhances your self-confidence when you feel shy or will have to stand in front of others. Hold it in your hands or place it on the respective spot. It is also good to wear it as a pendant on, or you may also display the crystal itself around you. And finally, 45. Cries of praise. Oh my gosh. Cries of praise or something like this. This crystal is great for improving deep meditation or observing skills. While it helps to control obsessive or compulsive thoughts and behaviors, it makes you focus only on the positive events in your life. It helps you to talk witty and prevents you from speaking without a filter when angry. It instills a sense of stability, trust, and courage to devote oneself to society. It helps you at times when you have to express yourself. However, you should be careful about being lazy. Place it on the respective spot or use crystal water. Possessing it for a long time is good. Okay. Let me see if anything comes through simply through the archetypes of Scorpio, Pisces, and Virgo. Now, Virgo is about purification, and I definitely think you need to purify your body on many different levels. The etheric level, mental, emotional, and physical. So with Virgo, we also have organization. You need to get your life back in order, because I think you've lost order. You've lost, this is not about rigidity, but you've lost a sense of balance and what's healthy, and like having healthy boundaries even with your own self. So like negotiating with your own self, well, this is not what we're gonna do today, and this is what we're gonna do today, that kind of thing. You also have Pisces, you also have Scorpio. With Scorpio, this is again how you're poisoning yourself. The beauty of Scorpio is that they turn their own poison into the cure, into healing, and I think that's what Sekhmet and your Lyran starseed family wants to show you the way to do. They're like, you can turn, your the very thing that poisoned you one way or another, you can use it to heal yourself. And this is also about to get back your power. Many of you will have to dig into the wound. It's like having a bullet in your wound. You have to take it out. You can't just leave it there and hope the wound heals or close it. You have to get it out, because it will start hurting your other organs, right? So that's what Scorpio is. Sometimes you have to get into the ugly and dirty and into the poison itself to get it out. So this is what I see is gonna be part of your journey. And finally, you have beautiful Pisces, which Pisces can be about escapism and imagination, but Pisces is also serenity, healing, peace, connection with a greater power. And I think there is a strong calling for you guys to connect with a greater power, especially to connect with your higher self and with your own greater power, and to remember that you are a divine being, because this, I think, will save you. This knowledge that you're divinely protected. In fact, you're encouraged. I see that you're protected, but I would also not risk it and encourage you to set up protection spells, rituals, magic, incantations, whatever, around yourselves, around your houses, around yourselves as well. It's very, very important, pile 3. And here we have a sense of like sisterhood, community, right? So it doesn't have to be a sisterhood, it could be a brotherhood, but that's just what we have in the card. Which tells me, again, you will find your spark once you connect with the community you resonate with. So maybe you're holding back from the people you resonate with truly, or the things you resonate with truly. You're limiting yourself, again, due to self-suppression. You have to liberate yourselves and accept what you truly want out of life, and go connect with people that have a similar idea, similar desires. I think this will really, really heal you. People that you relate to. I think you're trying to make it with people that you don't really relate to. So this is all I have for you, pile 3. I hope this resonated. We're gonna dive deeper, ask about particular events that you may expect, how to navigate them. We're gonna pull some more oracle cards as well, and tarot, obviously, to just get more detailed messages. And if you wish to connect with these messages, make sure to get the extended reading. I always try to keep the prices as low as I can, as accessible as I can, so many people can tune in. So yeah, if you want to do that, I'll see you there. And if not, thank you so much for watching. I hope this helps you. Let me know in the comment section below. Like, share, subscribe, because this helps my channel so much. And I just hope to see you in my next pick a card. Until then.